Here it is, the room tour. I'll show you the view I have from the ground floor. There's a loft up there with many things behind what you can see. First thing I'm going to explain in detail is my Dino Rider collection. For people who've already seen my Dino Rider collection, I'll leave it in the description of where to skip to if you want to see the new things I have. Here's my Dino Rider collection, and here's a view of my Dino world. It looks like from further back. I'll go for all the dinosaurs I have up here. As you saw, I have another T-Rex downstairs with the gold crulos. Okay, T-Rex, Triceratops. I'm going to mention the Rulons first, Deinonychus, Rasp, the Pteranodon, and the mammoth with Grom, and there's the Ankylosaurus hiding there. Heroic Dino Riders, Diplodocus, Styracosaurus. Forgot the name of this dinosaur, another Deinonychus. Taurosaurus, and youngster on the Quetzalcoatlus. Now, you're wondering why I have a Stegosaurus from Dino Wars. I think they're a pretty good Dino Riders clone. I like their armor and their designs, and also in the Dino Rider cartoon, they use their step crystal to rip a hole in space-time and go into the future and the past. So why not use the step crystal to make a wormhole to a parallel universe where instead of the Dino Riders, you have the Dino Wars units. Yeah, as you can see, I put lots of vegetation and variety of dinosaurs in the seashore. I tend to get another rule on Triceratops. The same, because in the cartoon series, rule on an army of these Triceratops. And I get some more Dino Riders, smaller ones, to balance things out. So you try to make the world look like a realistic prehistoric world. Spinosaurus can walk and roar. Careful he doesn't trample the other dinosaurs. A little bit of history as to why I got into Dino Riders. I was born in 1983, and as a 5-year-old in 1988, Dino Riders were the big thing at Christmas time, at least in Australia. And we have dinosaurs with guns, and they made them like huge. I still think the T-Rex is the holy grail, even though it's not the rarest one. The way it towers above everything. Yeah, I know the Brontosaurus is even bigger, but anyways, just like the scale, like they exaggerate the size of the dinosaurs, but make them tower above everything. The cartoon was entertaining as well. It used Korean artists. And next, for something people haven't seen in my other videos, my Gijoe collection. It's not big, but I'm growing it and has my favorites. I started collecting G.I. Joes when I was 5 years old, back in 1988, until I was about 9 years old in 1992. Start off with my favorite one, Deep Six. I like his deep sea diver theme. He's one of the bad guys, the Cobra Forces. When I was 6 years old, I got Deep Six, and yeah, this isn't the same one I got when I was 6. I rebought him. And when I was 6, I also got the exact same hovercraft. Yeah, I rebought the hovercraft, but you know what I mean. I like how it has the missiles, and I like his bright red helmet. Nostalgia plays a big part. Just like, I love the unit designs for G.I. Joe. They're very creative and look mean and menacing. 6 years old, I used to have my Deep Six on the hovercraft and try to make it float on water. I just love the details. Next favourite G.I. Joe is actually Altitude. When I got him when I was 9 years old, he came with a green backpack and a silver parachute, but it's too expensive to rebuy them. He also meant to come with a helmet. I just like his gear and the concept that he's a skydive or paratrooper, whatever you want to call him. Just like his design. When I was 5 years old, this was the first G.I. Joe I got, Astro Viper, and I like his concept. He can fly around near outer space, so I guess he's got a pressurized suit. The backpack he's wearing is an MMU. He looks mean. He should be being one of the bad guys. Guile G.I. Joe figure. Well, it's because Guile was the first Street Fighter character I could beat the Street Fighter 2 arcade machine with only 1 credit, not continuing after losing. And when people challenged me at the arcade, I could beat them most of the time with Guile, even though they often use Ken or Ryu. So yeah, he's my favourite Street Fighter character. He's actually got a good backstory. He spends a lot of time in Cambodia, and I like Southeast Asia theme because I'm Thai myself. And so that's why I got the Piranha Riverboat. Now, what happened was, when I had the Piranha Riverboat sent, it just disappeared from tracking, and it was declared lost, and the seller gave me a refund, and it showed up months late, and I offered to pay the seller, and the seller said, no, don't worry, it's insured. Anyways, so I bought something else from the seller, the Vector jet, and the Pilot Maverick wasn't included. Yeah, I know it's missing parts, but it was roughly the same price as the boat. And anyways, and I bought the Pilot Maverick separately. Yeah, as for Guile, I like how this hook thing has the same type of color as his Sonic Boom. I think that's a clever idea. Yeah, this is like a parachute I bought for Altitude, just an army themed one, because buying him his silver one and the green backpack are too expensive. For my TMNT collection, it's not big. I had a much bigger collection when I was a kid. Anyways, the only vintage turtle character I have is the Wacky Action Leonardo, because I can tell by the stamp on his shell. And as far as I know, they didn't do re-releases of a Wacky Action characters. I could be wrong, but I'm sure it's a vintage. And I actually like the Wacky Action characters more than the original vintage style, because the Wacky Action characters have more facial expressions and have more detailed weapons. And the Wacky Action characters were released a little bit after the original vintage. Also, it's just a sentimentality. Or the Wacky Action characters are much cheaper than the original vintage. Got this character here with 2 weapons, the Leonardo, for 13 Australian dollars. The nostalgia is when back in 1990. I was 7 years old, and just like every other kid, I wanted, me and my brother wanted TMNT characters. My Australian grandmother, she could find the other characters, but not the turtle characters, and she tried very hard to find them. There was no eBay back then. She called many retail stores. She offered them more money if we could reserve one for us, but other people offered the exact same thing. So then the following year, 1991, when I was 8, we went on a trip to Thailand. We just went to a department store, and it was full of the wacky action characters, not the original vintage, but the wacky action ones. So my first ever TMNT turtle character was actually the wacky action Michelangelo. I've bought one off eBay, and should arrive soon, but I decided to start showing the room tour because I've delayed it long enough. My brother got the Leonardo, and I was jealous of him because Leonardo is my favourite character. But anyways, I'm just happy to have at least one vintage turtle character. Even my Australian grandmother had no problems finding me a vintage shredder. When I was in Thailand, my father also bought me a leatherhead, and I just like his theme, the Southern Gator theme. So I rebought him. Now, this is a Mutant Mayhem Donatello. I just like his nerdy look with the glasses, like because he's controlling the blimp, so it looks like he's in control of it and designed it. This is a Chinese knockoff of Raphael. I got this Raphael knockoff, and these other knockoffs of Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo, like dirt cheap from China. Really, I just wanted the Raphael because I like his angry face. It suits him. And as you can see, I wanted a character to hold the bombs before they drop it, because this is a re-release of the Turtles blimp. Me and my brother had one when we were kids, and it was the one where the bombs were attached and you could press the button to release the bombs, and the front of the blimp had the gun. But anyways, getting a vintage one's too expensive, especially since I've got to have stuff shipped from like Australia or America to Thailand, and the cost of shipping is often nearly the same price as the item. So I got a re-release of the turtle blimp that has some of the downgrades, but there are box arts of the vintage turtle blimp, box art variations that show the turtle characters holding the bombs even when they can be like dropped from the blimp by pressing a button on the vintage blimp. Bombs cheap. I know the bombs that came with the vintage blimp are orange, but the sellers want way too much for the orange ones, so I got these green ones instead. They were just much cheaper. And I'm going to put my wacky action Michelangelo holding the other bomb and having attached to the blimp, just like the two other turtle characters are here. Yeah, the wacky action Michelangelo is sticking his tongue out, but I think it suits the theme. Yeah, I actually like the colour scheme of the original Shredder figure. I know it doesn't match the cartoon, but often cartoons in figure form look better than the cartoon. So here's a view of it from here. Like I said, the Michelangelo will go here. I want to get a metalhead character because I had one when I was a kid, and some foot soldiers to make it look like the bad guys have a chance, because the turtle characters are a bit overpowered. My collection, I'll just go from the order of the layout of my house, showing things I haven't already showed. Yeah, this is a boxed 2002 Masters of the Universe He-Man. It's actually my favourite Motu series because it has a more mature, brutal feel to its world and atmosphere. And this is a vintage He-Man. You can tell by the colours, and he has the flat bottom of the feet. I've got 3 vintage He-Man. You'll see the other 2 a bit later. Here are my handhelds. I got Game Boy Advance SP, Nintendo DS, 3DS, and Game & Watch Donkey Kong, and Game & Watch Donkey Kong 2. And I like some of the art of the Nintendo theme. You'll see a bit later, I really like handhelds. See, when I was a kid, my Australian grandmother, the first ever video game I ever owned was a Donkey Kong handheld. I did own an Amiga. My family had an Amiga beforehand, but I had to share it. And anyways, it was nice personally owning a Donkey Kong handheld. I often took it to school, and I actually prefer Donkey Kong 2, and I was jealous my friends had a Donkey Kong 2, but I'll let them play my Donkey Kong, and they'll let me play the Donkey Kong 2. I'm much better at Donkey Kong 2. I don't want to have to take it out of plastic and open it up. I'm sure if you're a retro game collector, you'll know how the games play and what the screens look like. The view from a bit further back. Now, here's my GBA and DS and some of my 3DS collection. Game Boy Advance games are very expensive now. Super Mario World, one of my favorite 2D platformers of all time. Pokemon Sapphire is very expensive on eBay. That's why I put my Game Boy Advance boxes in these plastic cases. And these are genuine. I bought them in Australia in an electronics boutique. See, in Thailand, at least for a period, there was a lot more pirates going around than genuine games, and it was difficult to find genuine Game Boy Advance games in Thailand, but I bought all my Game Boy Advance games in an electronics boutique in Australia. Zelda, A Link to the Past, which is expensive with a box and everything. Metroid Fusion, my favourite Metroid game because of the atmosphere. It reminds me so much of the Alien movies, the Hostile Alien Worlds. And some DS games. Like I said, I bought them all in Australia because in Thailand the ones being sold were pirates. Super Mario 64 DS. I love the Game Boy Advance because it was like a handheld SNES. And when Super Mario 64 came out for DS, I thought the DS was going to be a handheld Nintendo 64. But anyways, I love Buster Move, Tetris DS. It's Tetris, but it has things about it I like, and it uses backgrounds and music of classic Nintendo games. New Super Mario Brothers 2 was a lot of fun. Animal Crossing, I love the first Animal Crossing. You could basically play the game forever. Sonic Rush, I think, is a very underrated 2D Sonic platformer. And then you got the 3DS game, Super Mario 3D Land, such a fun game. Tales of the Abyss, one of my favourite Tales games, and Fire Emblem Awakening, one of my favourite turn-based strategy games ever. And Fire Emblem Awakening saved the Fire Emblem series in the West. And we got Yoshi's Island here, Donkey Kong Country. I actually much prefer the Game Boy Advance version of Donkey Kong Country over the SNES version. It doesn't look quite as good. At least it lets you save at the end of each level, so I could actually beat the Game Boy Advance version. And yeah, Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku 1 and 2. Now here is my Vita and PlayStation Portable collection. I have some more of my game collection in other places to match a theme. I'll explain it a bit later. But yeah, I think the Vita is a very underrated handheld. Being able to do HD on a handheld for its time, so I could play games like Final Fantasy X and Persona 4, the HD versions on a handheld, and same with Uncharted game, and it had some unique games such as Gravity Rush, and I love the PlayStation Portable as well. It has great game library, a lot of great JRPGs. Same with the Vita. Vita has a lot of great visual novels. I do have a PSP. It's in Australia. My father's going to bring it over. Switch, just keep it here for practical reasons. Also, I like the neon look of a Nintendo Switch. Of all time, Final Fantasy X. I don't want to have to turn it into a review of Final Fantasy X. I'll just say has a very creative story, a love story with chemistry, a world influenced by Thailand. Square said they got the influence for Final Fantasy X's tropical world from Thailand. So yeah, I bought the HD remaster for PS3 when it first came out. I bought the Switch version in Australia, so that's why it has this type of box cover, because Final Fantasy X H10-2 is you have to download it, but 10 is included on the cartridge. Just unfortunate the Australian releases like that. The Southeast Asian release has both Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X Part 2 on the game card. This is just a steel box. I love the NTSC box art for Bisay, the tropical beautiful beach. Now, yes, it is a platinum Final Fantasy X, because I actually bought a PlayStation 2 back in 2005, late in its lifespan, because it was during a busy time in my life, and I actually did most of my gaming on my Game Boy Advance, and then I got around to PlayStation 2 a bit later. Then I discovered Final Fantasy X, and it turned out to be my favourite game of all time. But anyways, it's just a nostalgia factor why I still have it on display. But yeah, some of my favourite games, I put a theme like that, like this. I also have lots of arts, posters for Blade Runner. It's one of my favourite movies of all time. Anyways, got my both Blade Runner movies and the Japanese spinner. Yeah, the HUD and some of the lights broke off when I was a lot of glare here. Apologise. I was bringing it to Thailand. Yeah, got damaged, but I've ordered another one. It'll be in a protective box, and I can put on some of the spare lights. And but I love the way the Japanese spinner looks. Now this is just a Chinese cheap Gohan in Super Saiyan 2 mode. I think it's when he's fighting Cell. I usually don't like buying unofficial things, but I just preferred the look of this Gohan, especially since he's making the earth move, and you see the energy going through his body. There's some manga, Ponyo, Tak on Titan. I don't mention all. We've got the Zelda Hyrule Historia, the Zelda Ocarina of Time manga, and a sci-fi novel, and I got the Chinese figures. At Mega Plus, I forgot her name. Her name's on the box, but what's hard not to love about a busty Japanese lady? Reset from Persona 4, and Yori from Yori Ayoshi, one of my favourite. Kenner wall scaler Batman figure. I got one when I was 7 years old, and anyways, it got lost over the years, and I wanted to rebuy it because I loved Batman when I was a kid, and I kind of fell out of favour with Batman for a bit, but now I like Batman again after the movies have started becoming good, and some of the games are really good. Anyways, so yeah, I bought the wall scaler Batman boxed, and I like his colours. His outfit matches the animated Batman series. I think it was released in 1992 or 1993. I used to watch it every Saturday morning, and Keno one. My brother got the, I think it was a Crime Attack, the one Batman wears like black to match the Batman movie, Michael Keaton. That's actually my favorite version of Batman, but I already have a figure of that type of Batman. I'll show it a little bit later. So I went ahead with this version. And this is a cheap Chinese knockoff of a Lego Batman. Bought it for like dirt cheap, so I thought might as well get it, because a lot of knockoffs can be like expensive in the future because they're hard to get. Anyways, Spinning Fists, I think it's a vintage He-Man. I got it for dirt cheap with a bunch of Masters of the Universe characters. I'll explain them a bit later, but yeah, it's another vintage He-Man. Here, there's nothing really vintage. There is some retro games. This isn't the entirety of my Switch collection, but many. But I like JRPGs and Mario and visual novels. See Clannad here, Zelda, platformers, and just a nice Nintendo theme here. Oh, and I love the Mega Drive Sonic games. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is one of my favourite platformers ever. Same with Sonic 2 for Mega Drive. And I like to have the Mega Drive aesthetic, the pattern for the box cover. And I bought this in Otara Dit. I showed it in my video to Otara Dit. Looked good, so why not? And I got this as a gift for Christmas. And I got a NES Mini and a SNES Mini. I bought the SNES Mini in Thailand, but I'm sure it's genuine because I bought it right after it first got released. That's why it's the NTSC version. I prefer the PAL version of the SNES, but in Thailand, this is all the Thai sellers had the NTSC version. Bought this in Australia. I couldn't secure one the first time, but when they started selling them again in Australia, I quickly reserved one at Electronics Boutique as soon as I found out by accident. I was having the day off from work, and then I discovered they were going to release another batch of NES classics in Australia. The first batch got sold out quickly, even through online pre-orders, so I quickly reserved one in Electronics Boutique, and I'm glad I did. The stuff I have here is 80s theme. I love the 80s, my favourite decade. I was born in the 80s. Saturn, despite what people say, I think the Saturn is a great console, has great JRPGs. It did 2D fighting games better than the PlayStation. Fortunately, it wasn't a commercial success in the West. It was actually big in Japan. It outsold Nintendo 64 in Japan, and for a while it was outselling the original PlayStation. So that's why this is the Street Fighter Alpha 2 I got back in 1996, and it's actually my favorite version of Street Fighter Alpha 2. It's my second favorite Street Fighter game. This version of Street Fighter Alpha 2 lets you use Shin Akuma, and so does the PlayStation version. The arcade version doesn't, but the Saturn version is better. Now, still have my box of Sonic 2 I got back in 1993, and it was the first platformer I ever beat, so there's a lot of nostalgia. And for a while, Sonic 2 was one of my favourite games ever. Still one of my favourite platformers ever. Like I said, just nostalgia factor. I had a lot more Mega Drive games, but I left them behind in Australia. But my father might bring them here soon because he's going to retire and live in Thailand. He's going to bring more of my belongings here, and I left some Saturn games in Australia. Believe it or not, when I was like 14, I saw on the shelf Panzer Dragoon Saga in a store for 80 Australian dollars, but I didn't have the money to buy it, and the game is worth thousands of dollars now because it's rare. So unfortunately I missed out on that chance. And I did buy Shining Force 3 for Saturn, but it got misplaced when we moved houses many times after, and that game is worth hundreds of dollars now. Panzer Dragoon Saga on emulator. and it is one of the best JRPGs of the 5th gen. Its world is hauntingly beautiful. It was like veneer for its time. Anyways, now I mentioned the first type of video game machine I had, my family owned, was a Commodore Amiga 500, and here it is. Populous was way ahead of its time. This is the Populous World Editor, because I did have a copy of the original Populous, but it was like a 4-in-1 pack, and the box got lost. But I still had the disc for it, but I couldn't find them. And the World Editor, it just lets you edit the worlds in the original Populous, like fast food theme or sci-fi theme. Anyways, Purple Saturn Day, I love the aesthetic. It's basically an intergalactic Olympics. It takes place around Saturn. You can race around Saturn, and there's some crazy psychedelic games. And as you would guess, purple is like the color theme that's often used. And the game has some adult moments, like you see, like if you win, and like you use an alien character, you get to I guess marry an Earth girl, and when she kisses you, the next screen you see a lot of alien babies that you've made with her, so it has a naughty side. This is one of the first RPGs I ever played. It's a first-person RPG. It's got a colourful, I guess you could say an open world, being an Amiga game, and it's got turn-based strategy, and like I said, it's in first person. And in the game, you had to just search for crystals and then light up towers. The game has amazing music. I really loved this game, and here's the Amiga instruction booklet. Next, I'll show my American football collection. I love NFL because I like turn-based strategy. Watching NFL relaxes me. Not so much college football, but I love NFL. It taught me discipline and helped me get to where I am in life. Anyways, I bought this Dan Marino jersey back in 1995 in a sports store in Australia, so I know it's genuine. Same for this cap here. And I keep all my NFL cards in this folder. I don't want to have to open the folder. I can open just one page. My favourite player in history is Dan Marino, and here are some of the Dan Marino cards I have. Now the cards I have here, well, NFL cards, their values are weird. Okay, this Montana card, I don't want to have to, oh okay, I'll hang, on the back of it, because there's incorrect stats about Elway, about Jim Kelly. It makes some people will pay thousands of dollars for this Joe Montana card, and also because it's Joe Montana and the card's old. While according to the Beckett, this Joe Montana card was the most expensive card I had, but now according to what I read, this John Elway sculpt, and it's actually my favourite card anyways. It's the most expensive card I have. I also like this Pax Marino. Yeah, it's sad Dan Marino never went on to win a Super Bowl. He led the league in touchdown passes 3 times, and he absolutely smashed records in the '84 season. At time, some of the numbers and high-scoring offenses he put together were like type of things you see in video games. The Dolphins had the high-scoring offense in '84, and highest scoring offense of all time in '84. And then the '86 season, they again had the highest scoring offense in the NFL. But in the '86 season, the Dolphins didn't even make the playoffs because they didn't have a good enough defense. It is a team game. I'm glad Elway went on to win 2 Super Bowls after he was given a good team around him. As many people know, Elway took 3 mediocre Broncos teams to the Super Bowl, and he got blown away by much better teams in his first 3 Super Bowl appearances. Then in his late 30s, when given a great team around him, he went on to win 2 Super Bowls and was the MVP in one of the Super Bowls. Here there's nothing... Oh, this is a genuine Super Mario Brothers 3 Game Boy Advance. I don't want to touch the box. And Sonic Advance, I'm going to get plastic covers. I had some more of them, but I can't find them because I got stuff packed away. And yeah, because I kept these 2 in my father's house in Australia for many years, and he sent them over. And here's just an assortment of games. They aren't my favorite game. These are games which I like, but they aren't my most favorites. Capcom vs SNK 2 is awesome. Most of my favorite games of all time are actually here, but I'll show it a bit later. And like I said, Final Fantasy X over there. I keep my favorite handheld stuff there. More on this shelf, re-releases of vintage style Ninja Turtles. This was like 24 Australian dollars, and this were like 12 Australian dollars. And I got this shredder dirt cheap a number of years ago. I got him with, I think it might be Galaxy Warriors, I'm not sure. I did have some Galaxy Warriors characters when I was a kid. Yeah, as well as some Motu characters which I have up in the loft, like Mossman and Orc. I'll show them a bit later. And this vintage, I think it's spinning this or whatever it's called, He-Man. I got them like for a cheap deal. Yeah, this shredder is missing the armor, but it looks okay with a katana. I don't know haven't had time to do research who are these figures, if they're Galaxy Warriors or not, just let me know. I got this guy when I visited Taiwan, not Thailand, where I live, Taiwan, and so there's sentimentality, like just a souvenir. Got this robot bird thing when I was 5 years old, and same with this gargoyle looking thing. So yeah, sentimentality comes into it. Kept this row empty. I'm going to put my Nintendo Wii here, and another Blade Runner spinner, a Hallmark one, which is due to arrive soon. And I might put my 32X, which still has the box here, and I'll find somewhere to display my Saturn and Mega Drive games. Anyways, now onto my Transformers collection. Okay, this is a genuine Japanese Galvatron. I prefer the lighter shade of purple that the Japanese version has. Anyways, when I was, I think, 5 or 6 years old, my grandmother got me this and this for Christmas, the lion and tiger style Transformers. Can't remember their names. Anyways, now when I was 9 years old, my father bought me a Optimus Prime back in 1992, but it got broken and lost over the years. So I bought a cheap Chinese copy. It looks genuine. Some people bought them thinking they'll be genuine, not thinking the price would be a giveaway. And they say when they take it out of the box, it falls apart easily. But if you keep it in the box, it makes a nice display piece. and it's a Chinese knockoff of the movie version of Bumblebee. The reason I didn't get the real one, I wanted a Bumblebee that can transform into a beetle, not the Camaro. This one can transform into the beetle, so that's why I have it. My two Starship Eternias, this one's in Starship form, the other one I have is in base form. One of my New Adventures of He-Man characters is in the cockpit. Just put one of the New Adventures of He-Man Skeletor just standing up, look like he's going to attack this ship. I have nowhere else to really put him. And Macross and the first Robotech saga, some of my favourite anime ever made. Many gatekeepers get angry when I say I like Robotech. It was Robotech that got me into Macross. They say that Robotech changed things and westernized things, but when I was growing up as a kid in Australia, Robotech was all that I could watch. I was like 11 years old back in 1994, and the first Robotech saga is very similar to the first series of Macross anyways. And in Robotech and Macross is a love triangle, and giant aliens invade Earth, and that's the fighter that the pilot, his name is Rick in Robotech, but in Robotech and Macross, this lady's name Min May, and then there's another lady who's involved in the love triangle. It gets quite emotional at the end. You can see my other Starship Eternia in base mode, and there's the other Starship Eternia here in Starship mode. Before I forget and show something light-hearted, these are KFC collectibles that they used to give away with burger meals when I was 7 years old. The reason why they have so much sentimentality for me is they were the first set of something that I managed to collect the whole set, and I love KFC, and as a kid I liked Looney Tunes, Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck is still hilarious, and Thai, one of the KFCs in Thailand gave away this hat when I bought a meal, this Coca-Cola truck. Well, when I was a kid I had a Pepsi truck and trailer that my parents got in Hawaii, but they don't have it anymore. I keep it here near the fridge. It needs to be cleaned a little bit. But yeah, just the theme of food, I keep it underneath my G.I. Joes and TMNT. Still want to get more like KFC themed toys, like maybe a Zinger Burger toy or a bucket of chicken toys. I love KFC. In Japan, they even have KFC buffets, and people go to KFC on Christmas Day in Japan just to be different. Thai people love our fried chicken. McDonald's isn't really that big in Thailand, but KFC is. Every shopping mall in Thailand, even like ones in rural areas where there's no very few Westerners, still have KFC because Thai people like fried chicken. The word for fried chicken in Thai is gai tod. But when you go to McDonald's in Thailand, you have to go to like the touristy areas. On this shelf I keep most of my favourite games. Okay, first up I have my Final Fantasy VII collection. There's the Switch version, which is Final Fantasy VIII included. The PC physical version of Final Fantasy VII. But be careful in this model plane, I've got to get low. On this side of the shelf I have Final Fantasy VII. Yes, it's a platinum version because I didn't get a PlayStation 1 until 1998, and the versions of Final Fantasy VII available were the platinum versions. I owned a Sega Saturn before PlayStation because I grew up loving Sega because in Australia and in other PAL regions, most of the great SNES JRPGs, I'm talking Final Fantasy 4 and 6, Chrono Trigger, Super Mario RPG, did not come to PAL region for SNES. Whereas on the Sega Mega Drive, which is known as Genesis in North America, Phantasy Star and Shining Force did come to PAL region Sega Mega Drive. So that's why I stuck with Sega up until the Saturn. And like I said, I did have a copy of Shining Force free. And Saturn did have some great JRPGs that I've mentioned, Panzer Dragoon Saga and Dragon Force, and had superior 2D fighting games. But anyways, it came harder and harder to find Sega Saturn games. It was hard to ignore Final Fantasy VII when I saw it on the TV commercials. So I finally picked up a PlayStation, a copy of Final Fantasy VII. And I could see why it's revolutionary. People say Final Fantasy VII revolutionized video game storytelling with lifelike cinematics and plot twists. The figure is, I think it's just a Chinese copy I got from a Thai shopping plaza. Cloud Stripe, it looks good. This shelf, I keep the rest of my Final Fantasy collection that I haven't already shown. Final Fantasy 1 through 6 Pixel Remaster, Final Fantasy 4 for GBA, Final Fantasy 8 for PC, Final Fantasy 9 PS1, Final Fantasy 9 for Switch, Final Fantasy 10 Part 2, PS2, Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 13 Part 2 and Lightning Returns, which is Part 3, Final Fantasy 15, Crystal Chronicles, and Crystal Bearers as well, one of the other Crystal Chronicles games. Actually very fun game despite what people say. Crisis Cores here. I should put the two Crystal Chronicles games next to each other. And Final Fantasy Spirits Within, which is, I think, a very enjoyable movie despite what people say. But Final Fantasy creator Sakaguchi and Sony had a falling out after, and that's one of the reasons Sakaguchi stopped releasing games for Sony consoles. Anyways, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, a very good CGI movie, and Dissidia, the Final Fantasy fighting game for PSP. I don't have Final Fantasy 16 yet because I'm yet to own a PlayStation 5, and I'm not sure I will get one, but we'll see. Some gems. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Suikoden 3, Suikoden 5, Jade Empire, one of my top 10 favourite games. It's a BioWare style RPG that uses Chinese culture, Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, Skies of Arcadia. Now, be very careful, this is still sealed, the Zelda Collector's Edition. I've seen this on sale for over like 400 Australian dollars if it's still sealed. I got it back in the early, I think it was like 2008 or something, for 90 Australian dollars. Skies of Arcadia is also very expensive. Anyways, this is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Bought it pre-owned, and they gave it some other custom box cover. But anyways, it's actually my favorite Zelda game. Anyways, Blue Dragon, and another great JRPG for Sakaguchi. Lost Odyssey, and another Sakaguchi JRPG, one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. The Last Story, another Sakaguchi JRPG, my second favorite game of all time after Final Fantasy X. Super Mario Galaxy 2, my favorite 3D platform of all time. Valkyria Chronicles, one of my 10 favorite games of all time. Heavy Rain. Yeah, Heavy Rain will be close to my top 10 favorite games. Just love the story. Yakuza 4, my favorite action adventure game ever. And Clannad, one of the most emotional stories in video games, so visual novel. And I already showed you I had Clannad for Switch as well. And some other games which I also love, but just not as much as the ones above, or Persona 3, Harvest Moon, a whole bunch of them, Bioshock, Breath of Fire 4, Slave Odyssey to the West, some of the Nossurge, Artanelico games. You don't have to read them all, you can have a look. Here I keep my anime and visual novel collection and some of my favorite movies of all time. Okay, these are all genuine as well. Cowboy Bebop, complete collection. Now, I don't want to say the name of these four visual novels are erogs, the erotic visual novels. So you don't want to say the name of one of them. Snow Sakurai is a very emotional story. Same with Crescendo, despite being erotic. Disorder is another visual novel. To the Moon is, I guess, kind of like a visual novel in 16-bit RPG form. Very emotional story. Casern, one of my favorite movies of all time. Whisper of the Heart, this one has the North American box art, which I actually prefer. I could have bought it much cheaper with the PAL box art. I like the North American box art. My Neighbor Totoro, Ghost of Michelle Akira, a very famous. I actually like Ninja Scroll more than both of them. Suzuka, very emotional high school anime series. Neon Genesis Evangelion, Never Ending Story, just nostalgia. Watched it when I was 5 years old. And the original Terminator, one of my favorite movies of all time. I bought them all in Australia from proper retailers, so I know they are genuine. Down here I keep the rest of some of my favorite movies, various Thai, Korean, Japanese movies. Yeah, this is a pirated of Cowboy Bebop, because I had the series collection, a genuine, but I just never got around to getting a genuine movie one. Now this I've been looking for a genuine copy of this Thai movie, Pat Thai Bride. It's one of my favorite movies. It's got the light-hearted Thai element. It's a love story, love comedy, a Thai one. Anyway, so I just keep it here with my favorite movies and anime. I have a Rurouni Kenshin box set here. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I can watch it over and over. And the OVAs for Rurouni Kenshin, Highlander. Here I have, don't know if it's genuine or not, but I bought it in Thailand. I tried to get a genuine one. It's got the movie Drive and Only God Forgives, both starring Ryan Gosling, and has Nicholas Winding Refn as the director. Both of them have the surrealism style. Only God Forgives is set in Thailand, and they're both some of my favorite movies ever. Again, I'm not sure if it's genuine or not, but this is the only way I could find it in Thailand. Again, if I buy things from like eBay outside of Thailand, the shipping costs are often nearly the same as the actual item. My other T-Rex, technically I own 3. My father's going to send my third Dino Rider T-Rex I own. This one I put the gold Krulos on top. It doesn't have the other figures that come with it, but I think it looks good on display. Got another T-Rex in a more hunched style, the way that it actually really walked. Anyways, I got the silver... forgot his name. When I'm doing videos, I always get nervous and forget the names. But there's the version of him who's wearing a silver. Anyways, I used to have some Battle Beast characters when I was a kid. Or here's the one I have left, Danger Dog. But I want to get more. I want to get the hair character one because I also had him when I was a kid and liked him. And this is another vintage He-Man character I own. I'll show you, like, oops, see the flat bottom of the feet. This is He-Man, vintage He-Man is the one I own that's in the best condition. The theme here, I want it to be just 80s toys with the exception of this other T-Rex, because T-Rex is my favourite dinosaur. To get more 80s toys, I'll put them here, but vintage original He-Man up on the loft, and I'll show it with my Motu collection. Now I'm going to use this ladder here and show on this side of the loft the things up there up close. Here, well, here's my boxed Link figure, Ocarina of Time theme. See the N64 logo in the top left corner. Having it boxed, it's worth hundreds of dollars. Now my boxed New Adventures of He-Man figure, also having him boxed, it's worth hundreds of dollars. New Adventures of He-Man has a lot of sentimentality to me because the New Adventures of He-Man was the first ever He-Man character I ever owned when I was 6 years old. I was doing very well at school, and my grandmother tried everywhere finding a vintage He-Man for me, but she couldn't find them. Just like the TMNT figures, she could find the other characters, but she couldn't find He-Man. Anyways, when I started doing very well at school, she told me she'll do whatever it takes to find me a He-Man character, and she managed to have one reserved, and she drove a big distance, and she got me a New Adventures of He-Man figure. This isn't the same one, of course, but the sentimentality. And I do like the sci-fi aesthetic, despite what people say. Now, 3DS Ocarina of Time, it's actually a remake. It's the best version of the game, and it's a very revolutionary game in itself as far as 3D action and adventure goes. There's comes with many different box arts, but I got the one with this box art because I like it the most. I think it looks beautiful next to the Ocarina of Time figure. Now, not the biggest Superman fan, but I will say Superman 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. I like Superman 2 for the same reason I like Dragon Ball Z. People with superpowers clashing, heroes and villains of superpowers. It's epic. And I mentioned earlier, I have a Batman in the style of the Michael Keaton 1989, was it Batman movie? It was 88 or 89. It's my that's still actually my favorite Batman movie. My second favorite Batman movie is Batman Begins, and I like this style outfit the best. The yellow belt and the logo with the yellow around the bats. And anyways, I got this Fisher Price Batmobile as gift, and the Telltale Batman game is my favorite Batman game. It's one of my favorite versions of Batman. It's got the stories are very captivating. It's even got romance. It's got you really care about Bruce Wayne, and I like its version of a penguin. He's not portrayed as a fat, bald guy. He's very charismatic. You like him. You really like the penguin as much as he's a bad guy in the movie. Don't want to spoil it for you. And other things I have, well, I have this limited edition Babylon 5 game and screensaver pack with the hologram front of the Vorlon ship. Now, I also love the Mass Effect series because, if I remember correctly, the developers of Mass Effect had to get permission because some of the story ideas are very similar to Babylon 5. In Babylon 5, you have a race of beings that use living ships that show up every 1,000 years and try to conquer the galaxy, and the younger races have to join forces to stop them. That's similar to Mass Effect. There's also other similarities, but nonetheless, Mass Effect is very entertaining. I love the atmospheres of some of the worlds in the game. You have the Babylon 5 fourth season. I have the Babylon 5 movie collection, but it's still in Australia. I'll just show some of my plane models because some of the stuff I have is worth money. Okay, I've already showed in other videos this Thai Airways model plane. It's an LED. When I plug it into to a USB, it lights up. I don't want to demonstrate it now. Now, this bag I got when I flew with first class, and I didn't pay to fly with first class. I was given first class for free with Thai Airways. I still don't know why, but it happened. I'll show what's in the bag. I've showed in other videos, but I'll show once again. I don't want to touch the things in here too much. It smells nice in here. But you've got various things. I gave the hairbrush to my father, but I kept the rest of it in the bag. It's a nice souvenir to have. Bottle, it's just a souvenir. Same with this pen. I just have nostalgic value. I got it from a pretty Thai air hostess when I flew with first class. She told me I could keep the pen because she asked me when I when I used first class or business class, whatever people call it. Obviously, the food's much better. And they're offering me glasses of champagne and cakes the whole time through. And at the very end, the pretty air hostess asked me, is there anything else she can do for me? She asked, may I borrow a pen to fill out the immigration card when I was flying to Australia. And she told me I could keep this pen. And the bottle of water from my last Thai Airways flight. Now here, Nok Air is a Thai airlines for mostly domestic, and I've flown with Nok Airways. The staff are friendly, and I like the designs of the planes. They're small planes. They've got very pretty air hostesses. They did a calendar of them in swimsuits. It was very nice. Some people don't like me having Russian plane models, but the MiG-29 has been my favorite aircraft design since I was a kid, since I was 7 years old. I just like the look of a MiG-29. It does look intimidating. It's a big model, 1/32 scale. Now, here's a MiG-21. The reason why I got one is because it's the most produced supersonic aircraft in history. Many countries still use MiG-21s for their air force. Remember, Thai Airways use Boeing model planes, whom are an American company And the vector jet I showed earlier, well, I think it's fictional, but the pilot's American. Now I'm headed up the loft again. I'll show the rest of my Masters of the Universe and my other He-Man collection. Headed up the loft again. I'll show the rest of my Masters of the Universe and my other He-Man collection. The Masters of the Universe characters I'm about to name are all vintage. I know they are vintage because you can tell by the bottom of their feet. They have the flat bottom of their feet. There's other ways you can tell. He-Man, Clawful, Mantenna, Beastman. I like him in the orange suit. Merman, Spycore, Mossman, forgot his name, the blue guy, the yellow hair, probably remember after, and Men-at-Arms, and Too Bad. They all are vintage. The Castle Grayskull and Battle Cat and the Land Shark and 40th anniversary re-release of vintage style Skeletor and He-Man re-releases, of course. New Adventures of He-Man. I like the sci-fi theme to it, despite what people say. I like his green sword and shield and his futuristic armor, and Starship Eternia in base mode, and a shuttle here. Forgot the name of the character in it, and Walker thing with two Skeletors. They make Skeletor look like a robot in it, so why not have two Skeletors? And forgot his mutant's name. I think it's Slushhead or something. They both have water in their helmet, and there's an army of mutants in it, so why not have two? And this is from the 2002 He-Man series, which is my favorite series. I like how he's hunched over. Yeah, I bought his vest because I bought He-Man here, Skeletor, and Triclops. You can see him there for 40 Australian dollars. And the thing is, this He-Man, he didn't have his vest, but Australian seller for 10 Australian dollars sold 2002 He-Man vest for the Origin series. So it's a little, doesn't have the red squares, but it's nearly the same. I like the 2002 Masters of the Universe because it has a more mature, brutal theme to its world. And there's the CGI He-Man with his Banshee thing in the background over there. I'm laying on my bed. Thai people and Japanese people like having mattresses on the floor. We don't like soft beds. This is the view I have of my room when I'm laying down and sleeping. Not a bad view to have. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed my collection, having a great day or night. And what was the favorite thing you saw? What do you have in your collection? Hope everyone has a great day or night. Sawasdee Cup.